UFO crash recoveries, a classified corporate gold rush. The picture we see comes from a series of photographs that have been confirmed authentic by the Pentagon. Unidentified flying objects, UFOs, now known as unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs, within the mainstream media is arguably one of the most popular subjects on the minds of people all over the globe. And it's not just a US image that we see here. We have sightings and encounters of UFOs in most countries of the world. Mainstream coverage of the phenomenon, lending the large amount of legitimacy to the topic over the past few years via outlets like the New York Times and CNN, for example, is now commonplace. U.S. intelligence agencies are also expected to release even more information about what they know about the phenomenon within the next couple of months. But the author says here, based on my experience, humanity may never get close to the entire sphere of what governments and blank budget programs have already uncovered about this phenomenon over the past several decades that they've been studying. Now, I do not believe that this topic is for governments to disclose, but rather the citizenry to investigate for themselves. And if we continue to rely on government as well as mainstream, we may not get the truth. It could be a deception. Now, it's quite concerning that controversial topics like UFOs, which were for years considered to be conspiracy theory, despite the fact that there was more evidence for the phenomenon than much of what we accept for fact today, have to be presented in a legitimate way via mainstream media outlets for the masses to accept and become aware of their reality. It's concerning because it goes to show how much mainstream media has close ties with large corporations, governments, and intelligence agencies, influences the perception of the masses. It allows, as I would call it today, this machine of psychological influence to manipulate human consciousness in ways that best serves their interests, and we've seen it before in a variety of topics. But we're concerned here about UFOs. He says, I'm concerned about governments and mainstream media shaping the masses' perception about the phenomenon, but so far it's been nice to see the topic receive the legitimacy it deserves. The UFO subject leaves no aspect of humanity untouched. It opens up conversations that go into physics, biology, economics, history, technology, metaphysics, parapsychology, cosmology, and more, even interdimensional aspects, quantum physics. To be honest, the fact that there are objects in our atmosphere performing maneuvers that no known man-made piece of machinery is capable of, that may be controlled or manned by beings from another world, is not even the tip of the iceberg. That's how vast, complex, and fascinating the subject is, and there are many questions and discussions to be had about this. We've been writing about this topic many decades now. Now, the crash recoveries. One topic within the subject matter is the phenomenon of supposed crash retrievals. Apollo 13 astronaut Dr. Edgar Mitchell once told the world that, yes, there have been crashed craft and bodies recovered. He's seen making these statements in a documentary. Eric W. Davis, a renowned astrophysicist who worked in the Pentagon with the Pentagon UFO program, stated that he gave a classified briefing to a Defense Department agency as recently as March 2020 about retrievals from off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. Now, Christopher Mellon, a former Deputy Assistant Defense Secretary for Intelligence from 1997 to 2002, confirmed that he was present during this testimony. He himself has been quite outspoken about the phenomenon over the past few years. Dr. David Clark, an investigative journalist, reader, and lecturer at Sheffield Hallam University, who was also the curator for the National Archives UFO project from 2008 to 2013, came across some interesting documents suggesting that the UK was desperate to capture UFO technology, and former Canadian Defence Minister Paul Hellyer claimed that the protocol when military jets were scrambled to intercept UFO was shoot first and ask questions after. The most viewed document from the FBI archives touched upon the idea that the US government was responsible for 3 UFO crashes in 1950. Each craft had 3 bodies inside, and we could read more in the specific story in the link here. And when you have supposed cases like the famous Roswell incident, but there are many multiple dozens of stories like Roswell I've come across in the years in the research. Now, UFO crash recoveries, a classified corporate gold rush. Quote, UFO crash recoveries, a classified corporate gold rush, end quote, will be one of multiple themes that renowned UFO research historian Richard Dolan will be covering in his UFO conference. And Dolan says, I've talked about the acquisition of exotic technology by the military and the black budget world. This time I'm going to go deeper into not just the testing and the attempts to replicate this type of technology, but the likely corporate players involved and revolutionary nature of the sciences and technologies involved. What has been developed over the years is a bizarre system of what I often call legal illegality and one of massive profit for certain organizations, he said. So if you're interested in the crash recovery topic, probably something you won't want to miss. It's called UFO Secrecy in a Changing World Conference. And the link here, there's a link here. So final thoughts. He says Russell Brand recently conducted an interview with NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden. One point Snowden made was that we have to be careful because not everything that is labeled a conspiracy theory is actually conspiracy theory. This has been proven to be true for not only mass surveillance, but for other topics, mostly, of course, recently UFOs. The point is our world, and more particularly the mainstream, fails to have conversations about controversial topics such as this one. That being said, it's not easy to come to grips with the idea that our world is nothing like what's been presented to us, but that's something humanity must go through if we want to move forward as a collective. So we have to be careful when it comes to things that are deemed to be a conspiracy theory. And remember that every phrase such as this was used in 1967 in a classified CIA dispatch providing instructions on how to manipulate and manage public opinion. And it appears to be the manner in which the phrase made its way to the public. Keep in mind that a decades-long campaign of ridicule and secrecy has been applied to UFO issues. This is what ex-CIA Director Roscoe Hillenkotter told us. This is something important to think about, especially in this era. Again, the phenomenon is so big and deep, it has the potential to shift human consciousness and change the way we view ourselves, the cosmos, the nature of reality, and why we live the way we do on our planet. We still have a ways to go. For example, if UFO technology has a potential to change our world for the better in multiple ways, will it be used for that? Or will it be used by a small group of people to benefit financially and in other ways? It's not technology or new discoveries that will change our world. It's the consciousness that lies behind them and more. And ultimately, it's the way we treat others. This is by Collective Evolution. It's on Collective Spark under Creative Commons by Arjun Walia. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.